It's a sports kid SummerSlam. It's Shane McMahon gonna get the business with Yeah, what's up, everybody? On demand, live, wherever you are, listening in your ears, in front of your face, on whatever device you feel is nice. This is Sportskeeda Wrestling. We're now doing it every Thursday afternoon. I am Kevin in Chicago, Illinois, the home of the Chicago White Sox, who are one win away from having the worst win-loss record in professional baseball history, but they're just somehow avoiding it. And over there is Nick Harkson, who's in Sacramento, a place where the Oakland A's will play until they go and find their new wife in Las Vegas. So let's get into it. We have a lot to talk about in the world of wrestling today. Huge news from WWE involving their new deal with Netflix, a controversial documentary that has just come out in the last few days about Mr. McMahon and the reactions to that. Plus, we'll talk about SummerSlam being announced for 2 nights in the shadow of New York City, New Jersey. I know the New Jersey people want me to make sure I say New Jersey, so I said New Jersey, and so many people are happy that they said New Jersey. 2 nights of SummerSlam. Is it too much? Your questions on screen. If you're with us live, hit the like button. We need the likes. We have to climb up the ladder, all right? The Zuckerbergs and the Elons and whoever is Mr. Google, they want us to get the likes. If we don't get the likes, we're not validated. Hit the like button. You have it. Put your greasy thumb on the thumb. I don't know if your thumbs are greasy. Excuse me if your thumbs are clean. But I want to hear from you guys. How you doing, Ozzy? All right. I see people watching over in New York City. I see some people who are checking in from Toronto. Where are you watching the show from? I want to hear from you. Whatever app you're watching on, shout it out. Let me hear from you guys. How about them Cowboys? I don't care. No, the Bears suck. Whatever. Go Cowboys. Great stadium, by the way. Cowboys Stadium. I enjoyed seeing WrestleMania there. We do have breaking news to get to. Let's get into it. We'll talk about Shane McMahon and AEW as well in the next few minutes. But SummerSlam confirmed today to go to 2 nights of SummerSlam. How do you guys feel about this? Sound off. Is it too much? WrestleMania, of course, a few years ago, expanding to a 2-night presentation. I was at the last WrestleMania that was presented in New York, New Jersey. This was the one where Becky Lynch won. Way too long of a show. Way too long of a show in the eyes of many, many people. There was issues getting people in and out of the stadium. It was the big critique of the show is that it was simply too long. I want to hear from you guys here. Shout out St. Louis. How you doing? You guys are going to get an NXT next week in a 3,000 seat venue, which is pretty impressive to see. Want to hear from you guys in this. How do you feel about this 2-night SummerSlam? Nick, your thoughts. I've been talking over you for 3 minutes.
You're good. We're getting into this show. How you doing, Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of already on the path to that, right? Like 2026, Minneapolis was going to get it 2 nights. So they're just doing it a little bit earlier now in 2025 in New Jersey, August 2nd and August 3rd. I'm not mad at it, but I was thinking about this a lot, and I don't know if I want them to go this way with the other major PLEs like Survivor Series or Royal Rumble. I hope it doesn't go down that path because I kind of like Royal Rumble, particularly where they have the women's and the men's in one night. It's a good, fun little betting experience too to have with your friends, to have it all in one night, and I know that they like it one night, so I'm cool with it with SummerSlam. I think it'll be a lot of fun, but me personally, I hope that they keep Survivor Series and Royal Rumble to one night.
I don't know if they can do it with every major PLE event, but in the era of streaming where you have, and this is the thing that a lot of people are kind of shook by, the hardcore fans are the people that are going to watch it. Edwin saying, I think it is really cool that you could do 2 nights of it. It gives you a little bit more flexibility. True. I think as a viewer, this is my justification of it. I don't think people view WWE the same way they do, completely the same way they do as UFC. Now it's the party thing. It's the get together thing with the Rumble. I completely understand that. But with SummerSlam, you're going for the weekend. This is still, I'm thinking the live element, you're going to be all in. You're going to spend the whole weekend there. Why not get him for another night? They did it a couple of years ago, and you saw how much more profitable that was. Why wouldn't they try it with something else? You saw it when they were doing this before for 4 or 5 years. was an NXT show the night before, an NXT takeover. NXT is not the same type of show where you can do that anymore. My assumption is NXT will be a part of this weekend. They haven't said how that's going to be. My assumption is they're going to have a SmackDown and a Raw on each side of that. I don't know how that's going to be, but it's New York and they can do that. And so this is a huge, huge market. I think this is a major thing for WWE to do in one of the biggest media markets in the world. It is another flex by them. This is another positioning of them going to areas and getting areas to want to buy into their events. I can tell you, talking to the people I spoke to some people today, or rather this weekend at Riot Fest, who are associated with the live event business in Indiana. And there is a lot of attention being put on how these governments that have like independent kind of tourism boards and business boards are putting these events together and putting down tax credits and all these different things. WWE is getting a revenue stream, a business stream that is completely independent of TV rights to be able to do these, but is also conducive to, all right, Peacock, Netflix, our major streaming partner, we're going to present 2 nights of that. So it works twofold, because if you're Peacock or you're Netflix, what is a major factor and a major metric that they consider? And that is watch time. If I'm watching one night of SummerSlam and it's 3.5 hours, what if I watch 6 hours of it? And I watch it in 2 hours. You get 3-4 million people to do that. You double that number. How many more people are going to stick with a Netflix or a Peacock, depending on where they're watching these in 2025, and watch that over the course of 3 days? You're going to
No, you're right.
Pull up Netflix in January 2026, and they're not wrestling fans. They know of it. Okay, I watch this. I watch NFL. Maybe I'll check out WrestleMania, right? But they're going to pull it up and be like, the number 1 show on Netflix is WWE, or the number 3 show. Because you always see when you pull up Netflix, people see that, and then they kind of think, oh, I'll watch whatever the top shows are, right?
Yeah. You got a great point there. And, I wasn't bashing the 2-night thing. I think it's great. I would love...
You just want it limited. You don't want them going full tilt with this.
Right. But I'm going to very much so enjoy SummerSlam. Like, I am all for it. I think it is a really cool thing as well. But, comes the Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, I don't think we need to jump into that quite yet. But it is, I see your side of the story as well, how profitable it can be and also beneficial to both companies. So.
All right, if you're just joining us live, I want to know what you guys are thinking of SummerSlam as a 2-night thing. Is it a thumb up? All right, give me a thumbs up on this video if you're for it. I know some of you guys watching on Facebook. If you're really into it, give me a heart. If you're not feeling it, let me know how you're not feeling it. I want to get your opinions on screen here. A lot of crazy stuff. We have a new Intercontinental Champion. I know we're late to the party on this one, 3 days old. What do you think of Jey Uso, the new IC champ of WWE? This was great. This was a feel-good ending to Monday Night Raw. Really, really hot crowd in Ontario, California for him on this. Good on Bram Breakker. I think people forget when you lose matches, you still have to make the match really, really good. I think that's a surface level observation. I love this. What did you think of it, man?
It kind of surprised me. I wasn't expecting a title change on Monday Night Raw, but I love it. I love how they're keeping it unpredictable. And the IC title, Intercontinental Championship, it is prestigious once again. And I love how they make one of the top titles change on a Raw. So congrats to Jey Uso, his first singles title. It's been a long time coming, but now he's truly main event Jey Uso. And like you said, a great moment, him going in the crowd, celebrating, and in his home state of California. Gotta love it.
Also, I'll say this: if we get a certain amount of likes, we'll do a Q&A. If we get a certain amount of likes, we'll do a Q&A at the end. So if you're with us now, really, really hammer that like button and get involved in the conversation, and then you can just completely dictate the conversation at the end of the show. All right. So sound off if you're just watching and lurking in the background. Go ahead and hit that like button as well. People give me a yeet. He's just over. Jey was just so over in this. There was a digital-only interview they did with him where he was kind of out of breath, taking in the moment. And he talked about how the years he put in to get to that moment and why this means so much, and how, if you're a kid out there, dreams come true. And I was just like, you work hard and it matters and you put in the effort. And this is when you kind of see the fulfillment of those. That's that isn't overstated. You know, like that can't be overstated.
Right.
And I think that's the special thing with stories that you can tell with all the negative things that people say. And we'll kind of get into some of the negative news with WWE this week that they were involved in filming and shooting and getting people talking about the Mr. McMahon documentary. We'll talk about it. So we'll get into that. We'll get into the Shane McMahon story in a few minutes, by the way. If you want to know that one, we have a little bit of insight on that. So it was just a feel-good ending. Want to hear from more of you guys here. What would be the reaction if somebody donated? Oh, if you donate a super chat. If you donate a super chat, we'll go right to your question right away. Yeah. Okay. And we may even go back to it twice. I'll say that too. If you donate super chats on YouTube, we have people asking that question. Ozzy saying Yeet is Jay with Ripley in the new group. Yeah, a lot of people talking about Rhea Ripley and Jey Uso being linked up here. What do you think of that one, Oz?
I mean, hey, yeah, it's another love angle with Rhea Ripley. At first I was like, okay, here we go again. But Rikishi wasn't too happy at first. I don't know if you saw that. He was like, what are they doing?
I do not approve. I do not approve of you talking to my over the age of 30-year-old son.
Right. So I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, two very over stars. I think it's fun. It's a good thing. But this begs the question: Will Dominic Mysterio some way weasel his way into the Intercontinental Championship picture?
It would be cool. It would be the way to go, dude.
Yes,
because it's the complete opposite amounts of like love that Jay has right now, and absolute despicable heat. Like he has people love to hate Dominic. You know what I mean? And they love to hate him. Yes. And it would be the way to go. It would be the way. It would absolutely be the way to go. And of course, Bad Blood, the match was made coming up here. Wow, we had Dominic, custody of Dominic, 2005, a ridiculous thing. SummerSlam, a ladder match between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero, a real thing they did. And then Ozzy saying, what does Rhea Ripley's husband think? It doesn't matter. It's pro wrestling. That's he thinks it's pro wrestling and the household's getting a check. That's what he thinks. Okay. Yeah. So calm down. I'm not going to put words in people's mouth. The amount of people that bring up, but she's not really married to, Rhea Ripley and Jey Uso, but she's with Buddy. Yes.
They're all married. Besides Liv.
You know what they're married to? The business of pro wrestling.
Yep.
Wow. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Okay. Shelly, more of your folks here. You're on the Dominic issue here. I'll win it back to you. I like this. Thank you. Chell.
Oh, we lost Kevin for a second. Oh, I hope Dom can hardly wrestle his way out of a wet paper bag. That is hilarious. Kevin, we lost you, bud.
Am I back?
You're back.
Okay. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened to my internets. Am I still with you guys?
You're here.
Okay. Sorry.
You're back.
He can't wrestle his way out of wet paper bag. Yes, he can. The idea of people saying that Dom can't wrestle is stupid. Like I wouldn't say it's stupid. It's just kind of like an impulse reaction to say when you don't like somebody, you just say they can't wrestle. But also another thing, people saying, you gotta have this bad guy win this match because I like him, but you just like him. Just don't like. I don't like when people have a non-analytical point, but then trying to state it as an analytical point. Like that's just maybe just my little discourse. People saying I hit the wrong button. Mr. Evil, yes, Dr. Evil. I'm Dr. Evil with a beard. I'm Dr. Keevil. Jey Uso is the new IC champion. I almost said US champion. I mean his character, not him. Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate that. I agree. His wrestling character cannot wrestle, and he uses shitty tactics and cheating ways. And Memphis Heat to get through it. All right, it's Heat versus Yeet. Oh, make that t-shirt, dude. Make that t-shirt.
Yeah. Love
make that t-shirt, Heat versus Yeet, brother. Oh, love it. I'm rolling with it. We have a lot more to talk about. More breaking news today, but I do want to mention some cool things that we're doing. This breaking news we'll cover here in a few minutes. And if you want breaking news, we have a whole lot of it. just launched last week. A lot of content on this for $5. You are getting the hottest Patreon in pro wrestling, the hottest new Patreon in pro wrestling, exclusive content from WrestleVotes in the Backstage Pass SK Patreon. That's Patreon Backstage Pass SK. Patreon.com Backstage Pass SK. Only $5 a month. Well worth it. Exclusive shows with JBL Jero Briscoe, Bill Apter with WrestleVotes. You may have heard WrestleVotes heard before. So WrestleVotes is a Twitter handle, a mysterious person that we still do not know, that has deep sources within WWE, and they're breaking some big stories, including one that just came out this afternoon, giving us all of the details on why WWE is going to a 2-night SummerSlam and the theories and business practices behind it. So much to get into. A Q&A with WrestleVotes, having all of these sources as well, is also available on our Patreon, and you guys can watch video versions of that as well as patreon.com Backstage Pass SK. Okay?
Nice.
Bill Apter doing that. Tip of the cap to Bill Apter. Can you tip the cap? I'm not wearing a hat. Thank you very much, Nick. I needed someone to tip that cap for him. So we'll get, if we, oh, by the way, keep the like buttons going. If we can double the likes that you see on the screen right now, we will do a Q&A at the end of the show. Do you want to plug this as well? This one is pretty interesting. A member of the Bloodline with us now on YouTube. Yes, formerly known as Manu. You remember him in WWE. He is with us and Enter the Bloodline every Wednesday. Pre-produced, pre-edited. Joe Lowry hosting this with him. Really, really cool stuff. That is up now. A new episode just dropped yesterday. So go watch that and check it out on our YouTube. We also have a bunch of new videos. I just did a video about how Bret Hart and Goldberg don't like each other and why they don't like each other, and the entire breakdown of that infamous match that laid into injuries that would eventually cause Bret Hart to not have an active in-ring career. A lot of details into it, a lot of work on that. Shout out to the entire production team at Sportskeeda Wrestling for putting that together, because I really liked it. I know you worked on some big videos. What was the last one? You just dropped a banger last week. The last week has been a blur for me.
Yeah, we've done a few, but I did one on the man behind the music.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go and check that one out. Maybe the most important man behind, who's a non-wrestler in WWE history, because he made all the music for the wrestlers. But go check that one out. I did a lot of shorts. I got one coming up on Cody Rhodes' most important run outside of his title run. I think that one is interesting as well. But we got a lot coming up on the YouTube channel, so be sure to go over there and check it out, people.
Fado is watching in South Africa, all over the map. Thank you. He says, so excited for SummerSlam. Other people talking about other changes with WWE. Raw is now 2 hours. Saw that comment as well. That's coming up. That'll only be until the end of the year, by the way. And then Raw will go back to, I believe, will be 3 hours on Netflix. That's the understanding.
Yes.
And then, of course, the SmackDown changed to 3 hours. Praying for Dutch Mantel in SP3 and Rick Ucchino. They're gonna be doing the post show over on Wrestle Binge.
Nice.
So many plugs. I'll plug another big interview that's dropping tomorrow, but let's get to more of the meat on the sandwich here. Shane McMahon. The Young Bucks know how to stir the pot and kill the business brothers, slapping them legs when they're doing them super kicks and aggravating everyone. They are executive vice presidents. I still believe they have that title in All Elite Wrestling, the major company that is awaiting to announce a TV deal just any day now. We're just waiting for when this new deal with Warner Brothers Discovery is going to be announced. Shane McMahon, Young Bucks. Young Bucks don't post on Twitter, but they do change their profile. Like that's their kind of like tweeting thing.
Yeah.
But they did tweet out a picture of themselves with Shane McMahon saying, interesting flight. Obviously, this comes last month. Shane McMahon, Tony Khan had their picture taken while meeting in a private business room at an airport. They both confirmed that the meeting happened. Shane McMahon, his source confirming it to Busted Open. Tony Khan putting on a statement as well, saying that they kind of reflected on their love of the wrestling business and all these different things. Now, obviously, Shane McMahon is not contractually with WWE at the moment. Last seen it at WrestleMania 39, unfortunately getting injured during an impromptu match that ended quickly. And before that, he was at Royal Rumble, and there was some controversy backstage about whether or not he overstepped his bounds, and he had a talent contract that was paying him so much, and he wasn't there. I'm not debating those things. I'm just laying out everything here.
Right.
Gotta ask the question again here. They want us to talk about it, so we're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
And they certainly got people talking. I knew it All Out. I was at the All Out show when the faction that John Moxley is with, they went heel and beat up on Brian Danielson, right? And they went heel. A lot of people thought this is where Shane McMahon would come in, that he would be a character on screen, that he would be more useful to AEW as a character on screen than a business person. I would say both. And I know that'll piss off some AEW fans, but I know some AEW fans really, really don't want him in the company and think that he's.
Kevin, we're losing you again. I hope that you come back soon, but I'll give my thoughts on Shane McMahon possibly meeting with the Young Bucks. Oh, Kevin's all the way gone, and now I am split down the middle, but keep talking, people. We'll get Kevin back here soon. I think it's very interesting, and I do agree with Kevin that Shane McMahon will both have an impact in the backstage and on screen or out there in the ring. You know, Shane McMahon, Money McMahon, he is a character as well, and he's going to be in the limelight. He's good. He's good on camera. So I do agree with Kevin, and welcome back, Kevin, that he will make an impact both backstage and on camera. I think you have to have him on camera.
You got to do something to benefit from it because you're still in the number 2 position. You're still the challenger brand. I mean, think of the pop that he got when he came back and we didn't see him for years and years and years.
Yeah.
It was huge. It was massive. Yep. Right. And I think it's worthy of bringing him in to benefit from that. You know, I'm of the thought that Shane is a guy you can have do physical angles and get characters over. People are going to claim, oh, this is a pure wrestling company and he's just like a sports entertainment guy. Guys, AEW needs, this is the controversial thing. You can BuzzFeed me or clip me or clickbait me, whatever you want. The thing that they're missing is the showbiz element.
Yeah.
You know, and they're missing this element of, it's not just getting a name from WWE that casual wrestling fans would know, or WWE fans would want to go and sample AEW because they're there. They have those names. You know, they have them, and those names can wrestle for them. They need this X factor of an opposition. They've tried this a couple of times, and maybe it worked or it didn't, and it stopped and started. Like the Bucks are trying to be like a corporate version themselves and play off the heat of the scandals they had, but it worked a little bit with the Sting, and then it rings shallow because they don't have this other element to get it to the next level of heat. If they're doing Shane McMahon and the Young Bucks, and it's like this corporate, we're the corporate guys who are really going to make AEW work, and you guys are just the indie dorks, and we're the Young Bucks and we sold out, you know, and like there's something there. And I just said it in like one note, you know, I'm not fantasy booking or anything, but I'm just kind of thinking of all the possibilities with it. But also Shane McMahon is a guy who worked in international television. You talk about the business stuff that. You know, he was bringing pay-per-view to China, you know, like he was doing, on-demand video for, in a major media market. I do think they have some international deals, but AEW could really benefit from expanding their wings and selling the TV rights in a lot of different areas of the world that they're not in. And he's somebody who can benefit from that. Also, this is Shane McMahon. You know, he was raised in WWE. You know what? He was the fly on the wall for what type of negotiations, what type of businesses. There's things that they're way, way beyond. People is like, are you watching the Vince documentary? Are y'all watching the Vince documentary? We will talk about it. All right. Within the show. All right.
Yeah.
Once again, if you guys can double the likes that you see on screen right now, we're going to do a lot of stuff at the end of the show that's really fun with you.
Yeah.
So Zach saying, so did the McMahons really partner up with AEW? Have you heard this conspiracy theory?
Lay it on me.
The conspiracy. Have you heard what it is?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
WWE actually owns.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
AEW. They actually own it, and they've put tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars into developing AEW and developing this company so they could create their own false version of this and create the idea that anything that's not they're going to spend tens of millions of dollars to create this false circumstance where people understand that WWE is really good. So we're going to put a bad wrestling show on the air. We're going to put millions and millions of dollars into a bad wrestling show, but not say it's our show. So the only reason that AEW is bad is because they're really owned by WWE.
No way. That's crazy. That's very interesting.
Do you believe that?
I don't think so. I don't know.
No, but I'm shocked that there's at least 3 people that do. You know what I mean? And I've had some people come to me and say, "Oh, Vince McMahon actually owns it," or something like oh, come on, it's so dumb. I don't want anyone saying that that's a genuine idea. There's speculation, there's conspiracy, and all those different things. Don't conflate them. So is Shane in AEW? Thotto asking. I don't know.
We don't know.
But the fact, this is a photo taken in an airport. This is the Young Bucks having a fun time. But the fact that they had a meeting it's consequential, and the fact that they didn't post that without Shane McMahon saying, "Yeah, put it up."
Right.
Yeah,
he gave him permission, probably.
Yeah. And 100%. Maybe because he wants to have fun with it as well. He's like, I hope that's not true. Well, yes, I don't think it's true. Don't worry. I don't think that's true. I think Shane McMahon wants to stay somewhere involved with the entertainment business, and maybe he can do that with AEW, which he has the right to do. What if you're saying it's true Miro asked for his release in fear of Vince McMahon? I don't know about that. That's another theory. Is Vince McMahon would come in now that he's outside of WWE, that he would try and buy into AEW. No chance in hell. No chance in hell. This is a question, and we'll get into some of these here before. I'll answer that. Kevin Curvin, rather. You big supporter of the channel. I will get to some of those for sure. People already fantasy booking though, Shane versus Darby Allin. They would be nuts. They would just what do you have that's tall? We'll jump off of it. Yeah. So let's get into the Mr. McMahon documentary before we jump into your questions. Once again, double the like count that you see here on screen. I know you may think the likes are just really, really weird, but if you hit that like button a whole lot, it's really going to help us out and really help us reach more people and different stuff like that here as well. Wanted to get to more of your questions here, but before we start, Mr. McMahon is on Netflix. Netflix has this documentary, which was filmed really 2021 into 2022. This was put together in kind of some level of cooperation with WWE. All of the big names are involved with this. Vince McMahon himself, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Stephanie McMahon, Shane McMahon, Triple H. A lot of big names. Now, a lot of this, for context, it's very important. And I know I've not seen the first episode. It is something I'm actually going to watch after this. And I've talked to people that have watched the show. They are not wrestling fans. They find it very captivating. But I had them asking me, how come they only kind of acknowledge the allegations of very serious SA allegations? I have to say the abbreviation SA for YouTube algorithm reasons. Yep. How come they don't acknowledge those criminal allegations and go right into that? That's done later in the series. It's about an hour and a half. It's a 6-episode series, I understand. Yeah. And some people are kind of upset with how that's handled. That was added. So most of this was filmed, done, shot, and these documentaries sometimes are shot for a while. This is done by the same company that filmed Tiger King. They just did the Crazy Chimp series, or Chimp Crazy, rather, excuse me. Chimp Crazy, which is on HBO Max. I absolutely loved it. I just watched it for the second time. Wow. That's how good it is.
Check that out.
Oh, it's awesome. It's really, really good. Those are filmed over years. And in them, the narrative sometimes changes based on real life things. And so they're filming part of it up until the point, and then so the narrative goes all over the place. So a lot of with this Vince narrative, it was designed to be a talking head thing. We're going to talk about the controversial things, the steroid trial in '94, the early '90s. It really almost did that. You want to talk about destroying WWE? That almost nearly did it, right? Yep. The war with WCW, him taking the company national, buying it from his father, the risks that were inherently there, him as a person, and the differences that people have of the perception.
Kevin.
Am I blipping out again?
You're here. You're back. I can hear you.
All right, sorry.
You're good. You're good.
So a lot of this, it's getting a 60% rating currently on Rotten Tomatoes. I wouldn't call that a definitive rating since the show's less than a week old. But what do you think of all the chatter around this? Because a lot of people that don't watch wrestling are going to see this documentary and be like, oh, wow, that is a really, really interesting, messed up, out there guy, And I'm not saying that. I'm going to say what people are saying.
Yeah, it's going to give people, somewhat of a perspective on him. But Vince himself, said that he didn't really agree with everything that was portrayed on him in the documentary. So, of course he's going to say that, though, if it's going to be saying anything bad about him. But yeah, I don't know. It's either way, I'm going to watch it. I'll give my opinion, I guess, maybe next week because I didn't watch it yet. But I'm very intrigued, and I am very intrigued to see how my non-wrestling friends react to this as well. So
I've already had a handful of texts.
Yeah,
I've already had people that are not wrestling fans text me about it and say, "What do you think of this?" They almost like they don't want to give me spoilers. And I was like, I kind of know everything they're going to talk about, but
yeah,
I think the most interesting episode for us that are watching it all the time is what happened between 2022 and the exit from the company, the allegations. Another thing with the whole allegation stuff, it isn't simply the most severe, criminal things. It's the other ethics around that are business related. And where NDAs, all this different stuff, and there's only so much of that you can touch on that people are going to go on the record and talk about.
Yes.
And Janelle Grant, the woman who's involved in it, she was approached about being filmed for this, but didn't film for it.
Right.
Vince McMahon put out a statement this week, distancing himself from it, saying it's a distortion of one story and then embracing another, and saying it kind of conflates the idea of my character and who I really am. And I was like, oh, all right. And a lot of it was like legal speak, right? And he put out a statement, didn't put out a video. A lot of people are very choice about that. It's also worth noting that Vince McMahon reportedly dropped his PR agency around this same time. So that's an interesting thing.
Yes.
I want to know what you guys think of this whole documentary, because it's controversial. It's interesting. It would be controversial even if we weren't dealing with the way that Vince McMahon exited WWE.
Right. No matter what.
So it's certainly interesting here. Love you guys who are checking out the channel for the first time. Thank you guys, especially the international audience. We're with you guys here. I can see that. I don't know. What do you think? Is this is odd because Netflix is also a company that just did like a multi-billion-dollar deal.
I know that's
WWE. Raw is going to be on Netflix in like January. If you're around the world outside of the United States, that's where you're going to watch WrestleMania. And then this damning documentary, which, by the way, Vince McMahon reportedly tried to buy back. He tried to buy this thing so he could kill it, and not have it get out there. So he clearly didn't want it out.
I was shocked that they did this, honestly, just because of how big of a deal they just signed in, especially if it's going to be mentioning names like Triple H or, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just, I was shocked to say the least, but it's happened. It's out there. Nothing you can do about it now.
Christopher Simmons saying, I ain't spoiling my favorite episode I was glued to was 5 of all the episodes. So a lot of people have their moments and different things they want insights on. They get into the Montreal screw job, all these different things here. So
nice.
So slam the like button, guys. Let us know what you think. The more likes we get, the more questions we'll take. I'll go through this. Thada wants to know, what are your predictions for 2025? Another massive year for WWE because of the Netflix thing. We're talking about people that don't watch wrestling getting exposed to wrestling. This will be the year. I will say this. This will be the year for you hardcore wrestling fans that follow Sportskeeda and you follow everything WWE and you want to know those stories and you're in this algorithm, right? A lot more people are going to come to the algorithm. A lot more. All right? And they're going to be people that are a lot more casual wrestling fans are going to be involved. And that will aggravate diehards. I will say this. This will be the year since the launch of Total Divas that you will see the greatest influx of women watching wrestling in quite some time.
I agree.
Simply based on the expansion of Netflix and how many more people can watch WWE. Give me a big prediction for 2025, as we're only here. We're almost in October.
Yeah, I will give you one. I don't think that Cody Rhodes goes into WrestleMania with the title.
Oh,
I think he'll be titleless.
You think he'll lose it before then?
I think so. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I just
not opposed to it. Not opposed. I'm not saying that his title reign has been bad, but you can't have someone after Roman who had the title for so long just go and have the title for so long.
Right.
You know, like Gunther beat Sami Zayn, and then SummerSlam, Braun Breaker takes the title from Sami. I'm all right with it. You know what I mean? And you give someone some title wins, title defenses where they win and build them up as a champion a little bit. Not everyone can be a Gunther or Roman Reigns and have the title and break a record and do all the different stuff.
Right.
Perceptually, you guys need to think a little bit more dynamic, and they also have to keep you guessing that someone could lose the championship in any championship match, right?
Yep. Right.
So I'm with that idea. I'm for that. Some other predictions for 2025. John Cena wins the Royal Rumble.
Hey.
John Cena going to have a massive year. He's going to be a big part of this whole Netflix thing for WWE.
Yeah, it's I would love to see that. I mean, Cena, one more run. You got to give him some big moments, and that would be huge. He doesn't necessarily need to go for the Universal Championship. He doesn't need to go for the top championship if he wins the Royal Rumble. But that would be a great moment. I would love to see that.
Fire off questions and likes at the same time. All right, let me hear from you guys here. Malik is jumping into the prediction conversation, saying Rock wins the Royal Rumble and beats Cody before Mania. Jacob forces a match out of Roman. Everyone is just slotting Jacob Fatu to be in a major match at WrestleMania. And I'm gonna throw some water on that fire. Not there yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Not there yet. Not there yet. Not a main event guy yet. Not shooting at it. Hey, I'm up here. But I'll read this massive novel of a comment that AC Knight did. I feel like WWE is wasting or even trying to bury LA Knight. How are they burying him? He has the United States Championship. His last match on SmackDown was during commercial breaks, making him fight in his hometown boy against Germany. He was squished in the King of the Ring tournament. Squished. I always look when someone says they're squished. They took almost a year to give him a lot, and yet he still has huge pops and keeps the crowd energized for 15 or 30 minutes. Am I wrong? No, you're not wrong, but you're not right either. I think LA Knight's a big guy. And another thing is with WWE's depth, I think people think if you're not in the main event that you're buried. That's such a short term, like I always use this, think with a dynamic objective. There's things on WWE that I don't care about, but I know someone else does. And they really, really care. And, I'm not cheering for it, so it doesn't matter, but I am cheering for it. So why doesn't it matter? It's so insular, but you have to step outside of yourself and kind of look at the big picture of it. So LA Knight's doing great, dude. I don't know what the problem is. Could he be doing better? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, he could be a bigger star. Absolutely.
And I think that he will do more. Even though he's up there in age, he's in great shape. I think the guy's got plenty of more years left in him.
Mm-hmm. People want to know, is it true that Charlotte Flair is still not cleared? Yes. The most recent word I've heard on Charlotte Flair is that she is not cleared, but it's nearing a window where she will be. And it's nearing a window where we're going to see her back in the mix. And she's been on the mix for a long, long time.
Yeah,
that was a severe knee injury. Shout out New Zealand. What's up, Kiwis? How are you? Thank you for listening. Bloodline lost the main event because Cody won the Royal Rumble. So this year, Rock ensures he wins, so no one can take a title match from him. I don't think it's that simple. I also think he understands the business goes on farther than just him,
Yeah.
So fire off these questions and likes. You got a question for me, Nick? You got a question for me? Because I got a question for you.
What's your question? You got a question for me? What's up?
WWE NXT starts this new thing next week. I got to get a ticket for that, by the way, in Chicago. It's going to be in Chicago next week. CM Punk going to be on the show. Where do you think NXT is going to be in a year with this CW thing?
I just see it growing and growing and growing. They keep bringing big time talent from the main roster down. Mm-hmm. They got this deal with CW. They're going to get a little bit more exposure, I think. I don't know. But I see it just continuing to grow. Working with TNA is a good move. They're just putting themselves out there, and the talent, when you watch it, it's undeniable. I mean, they have some big up and coming names. I mean, they're not big time yet, but they will be. And that's the intrigue there. I think that wrestling right now in general is red hot. People can't get enough of it, and NXT is
not everywhere.
Right, that's true.
It's red hot for some.
That's true.
Lukewarm for others. Then sometimes hot. Yeah.
But I think that NXT is doing a good job, and it's not the top product, but it's definitely
It's not designed to be.
Right. Exactly.
No, it's not
And
designed
so
to be.
I think it's got plenty of intrigue, and I think it will be even bigger than it is now. I think they'll get more stadium shows. I think this is what we're seeing right now with the Chicago and St. Louis. They're going to allude to more of that.
The St. Louis one, though, they were running the Enterprise Center. Tickets
True.
didn't move the way they wanted, and they made the right adjustment. They moved to the Factory, a 3,000-seat, more intimate venue. People think, this downgrade, they couldn't move it. It's not about moving the tickets. It's about putting the show in the best possible space so it looks and feels like an exciting show. I can tell you they're going to run the Allstate Arena, and they're going to draw a really good crowd for it, and that's fine. But then there's going to be people who say, well, they didn't sell out, and they did this through SmackDown. It's like, you're not here. I'm there. I'm going to be there. And it just because the show doesn't sell it doesn't mean it's not a good show or not a profitable show or not a productive show at the overall goals. That doesn't mean defending the company either, because it could be, it could fall flat. Who knows?
Very true. Very true.
Here right now, another question. Speaking of Mr. McMahon, do you prefer Triple H's ideas for Survivor Series with War Games? Now, 2 years into that's his idea. Or Vince McMahon's traditional Survivor Series. No, the whole traditional Survivor Series thing got so played down and it got so watered out. War Games feels special. I do feel like you don't want to get to the point where every year we know we're getting a faction versus a faction inside a War Games thing. We're nearing that. And people are kind of booking toward that. I think they're going to get, a team that Roman Reigns has against a team that, Solo Sikoa has. And we've talked about that in videos that you and I have worked on. Yes. And almost to the point where people have talked about it enough where if you don't do it, people are going to be pissed, right?
Right. Yeah. It's one of those situations. Definitely.
Yeah. I need a Chicago hot dogs. Oh, yeah. That is singular but plural at the same time. Sure. People say, speaking of NXT, Christopher saying Trick Williams, next WWE top star call up from NXT. Great guy. Whoop that Trick, dude.
I agree.
Trick is over. I also think he's going to win that title next week. I mean, him and he.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin, we lost you again. I hope you come back. But Trick Williams, I hear you. Are you there?
All right. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I got you.
Can you see me now?
I see you. I see you too.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on here with the internet, but we're rolling with it here.
We're rolling.
But I think all ego Ethan Page. People talk about getting this name from AEW, getting that name from AEW. Ego is a talented talker.
Yeah.
Like a really, really talented talker and a great, great personality, an underrated wrestler. I've worked with Ethan, so I have a little bit of bias on that. But he is a 100% from the word go is go. And he reminds me a lot of The Miz. And it reminds me a lot of his ability to play a dynamic, versatile villain and make his character work to who he's working with. And there's people that don't use that term anymore. Worker, are you a good worker? Right. He works a crowd. He doesn't go out and get a quiet reaction. I'll say this. He's going to be WWE's MJF.
Ooh, that's a big claim right there. But
here's the thing. He was that beforehand anyway.
Right. I think
AEW just had a thick roster. Mm-hmm. Some people get lost in the mix. It happens in WWE. And he's going to be great in NXT. People are already saying, I'm saying Ethan Page. And he also, if he loses his title to Trick, he's still Ethan Page afterwards. Think about that. I'm saying that. And if you follow him enough, you kind of understand it.
No, you're right, Kevin. You froze up on me again. I hope that you're back here in a second, but no, here you are. I 100% agree. Well, he cut out. I think he's going to come all the way back. Here I am split down the middle once again. But all you go, Ethan Page. I mean, he's got what it takes. He is the ultimate heel, and he doesn't need to hold a title in order to keep his credibility. I 100% agree with you that he can definitely lose this title and still be who he is. I think he's going to get called up to the main roster soon. He's got what it takes. He was just lost in the mix in AEW. He kind of was underutilized.
Deeply.
And I mean, he was saying that. You could tell he was frustrated with his social media and whatnot. But I'm glad that he was found and he found his way in NXT because he will be a big-time player in WWE. I like how you compared him to MJF, and he will be that of WWE. I wasn't going to say that, but that is... Now I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah. Thank you guys for sticking with us through the tech issues here. I'm getting asked a confusing question here from Zach. Are we getting to see a John Cena Nexus mashup with the new Bloodline and Roman, where Roman acknowledges Solo? I don't understand what's happening in that question. I'm sorry, Zach. You want to clarify on that one? But let's talk John Cena. John Cena is he's putting it out there that he is committed to WWE for this final tour. Yeah. I had younger members of the WWE universe and fandom asking me about this week. I ran into a very young wrestling fan who has never seen John Cena wrestle live. Oh. Okay. And I was talking to one of my friends, and his son was there, and he said his son got into wrestling in the last year, and he's watching the old matches, and he's like, John Cena's his guy. Can you tell him if John Cena is going to be doing a lot of matches next year? I was like, I think he is. Yeah. I mean, that's what they're promoting. Is like, is he going to wrestle in Chicago? Is he going to wrestle here? And I was like, I'll say this. He's going to wrestle in every major city in the United States that they can get him in some way or another, you know? And there may be one where he just goes and does like an angle, right? Right. That farewell tour is not going to feature a ton of matches. It's going to be enough. He'll wrestle in LA, Chicago, and New York.
Yep.
I think I can say that. And he'll do at least one or two big matches overseas. This isn't going to be a lot of wrestling, by the way. He'll be in the Rumble. I think I think for sure he will be in the Rumble, you know? But this will be built, and maybe we get another big Saudi Arabia match on this tour as well.
I could see that one.
Yeah. So you're looking at maybe 6 or 8 matches, you know? And that's not a ton of stuff, but a lot of TV angles to build to him with some physicality that hopefully won't, injure him or anything like that. Not saying he's a gentle guy. So what do you think has to happen with John Cena on this tour?
He's got a main event, a PLE.
Okay. And he has to be like Big Match Johnny again.
Big Match Johnny. I would love to see that.
Kind of hard to do. Kind of hard to do at 47, man.
So I don't know about.
I'm not doubting him. I'm not doubting that he can.
Maybe put a strap on him. Not a major one, but
another thing is he's tied that record with Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Does he beat the record?
It would be a cool moment. I don't know if you let him do it, but maybe that's
let him do it. Let him do it.
About, right? That's what this one's about, right?
I think the man. I know everyone's talking about this match with Roman, this match with Cody, this match with The Rock, this match with Solo at WrestleMania in Vegas. The match for me is Gunther versus John Cena.
Ah, man. That'd be crazy. Yeah.
And like, because this isn't John Cena from a few years ago. This isn't John Cena from 20 years ago. This is a John Cena saying, I only got a couple left in the tank, but here I am going to go against the Terminator of professional wrestling at the moment. A guy you can maybe beat on a lucky day. Like Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn got one past him. Yep. Like that was the story that was told at WrestleMania. Is that Sami Zayn, I don't want to say got lucky, but got a flash, caught him, bragging and caught him, and so that's all right. People saying, yes, he beats the record. I think it's a match that has to happen.
I think
people watch at 1:00 in the morning in Africa. Thank you so much here. Nice. Here we go. Ryan Evans with a question. I want to ask about this. JBL. Guy contributing to Things Sportskeeda with Backstage Pass.
Yeah. Shout out JBL.
Meanest clothesline in the business. A clothesline from hell. A satanic clothesline, I'm told.
That's what they say.
He says, Ryan Evans, what's the angle they are doing with JBL and TNA? He showed up and delivered a big clothesline, whispered something in somebody's ear, and left the ring. He showed up at GCW, was a part of the ending of a big major show there.
Yep.
Delivered a big clothesline while wearing that long jacket and the cowboy hat, whispered in someone's ear. Showed up in MLW, said nothing, delivered a big clothesline, whispered something in Brock Anderson's ear, and then left the ring.
Very interesting that he's going to.
If you're going to be a legend and do these angles and come back and be physical and do something, you got people talking.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? He's got us asking, what is he doing? Why is he doing this? This isn't just a one-off. There's something there. You don't do those and just do one thing. And also do it everywhere, that's outside of WWE, short of AEW.
Right. Yeah, no, I was talking about this with my coworker the other night. He goes, did you see JBL here? And I was like, yeah, did you see him here the week before? And yeah, it's
get him talking.
Around. Yep.
Get him talking, get him talking, dude. So that's a lot what's going on here. Oh, I don't want to leave this one out here. What are your thoughts on Lyra Valkyria? She is a big name who's made some moves in NXT and done some big things there. Shout out to everyone from the land of Ireland's been having a very good wrestling renaissance for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a premium live event that I would want to go to? All right. The Kelly Green in my blood would be boiling to get on an Aer Lingus flight to Dublin for that for a WWE Croke Park big arena stadium show. I will be there. I would be there. He goes, what are your thoughts on Lyra? I think she has to maybe get a little bit more microphone time and develop a character that comes off. The great matches, I would put her as one of the top 10 women's wrestlers in the world at the moment.
Yeah,
but people don't talk about her like a character like they do with other else. Also with NXT, it's getting really crowded right now. Roxanne Perez, Julia, you just brought in Stephanie Vaquer, who was a part of the angle. Stephanie Vaquer is a new person. Her debut, she literally said, this is a women's title match in NXT, and I will face the winner after this premium live event, the NXT CW debut, basically, that it is. After that, I'm going to have the winner. And where's Lyra in that mix? And Lyra, I also think can do some things on Raw. She's done this and that on Raw, hearing different things, but she's not, I wouldn't say full-fledged presented on Raw in the right way, Yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
I think
you don't want to get lost in the mix, right? You don't want to get lost in the mix. You never want that.
Right. And they just got to find a spot for her. And like you said, she's got to talk more, but the talent's undeniable. She's got it. She's got what it takes. And she will be a big star in the women's division eventually. But right now, I don't think it's her time to contend for a top title, but she is doing great for, how young she is, how little time she's even been with NXT and WWE. So love what she's doing.
All right. A lot of people with opinions. Someone saying Lyra is doing great. Calm down. She's doing great. Did you enjoy the show? Like it, share it, comment on it. If you're just watching on demand, if you're just listening on the podcast feed, thank you so much, by the way. You can stream the podcast of our show, which includes a lot of different audio with Vince Russo every single week. That's just one feed. I know I'm listening on this device. I'm watching on this different device. So we have 2 YouTube channels. We have Sportskeeda Wrestling and we have Wrestle Binge. Tomorrow on Wrestle Binge, my interview with Matt and Jeff Hardy is going to come out.
Hey,
they have comments about things that they would like to do in TNA wrestling and elsewhere. And that is coming out tomorrow. So look out for that over on the Wrestle Binge channel. We also have shows on Backstage Pass. So a lot of different things. I'm going to get a one sheet together that people can follow since we're putting out so much stuff coming out at the same time. But go check out our channel. Bunch of new videos on there, including Bret Hart not liking Goldberg and why. That is up right now. Thank you guys for supporting everything. If they want to follow you on the apps, where do they go? I know you have the band 2 Pieces is continuing to be funky and all the reggae that they can be.
Well, you can follow the band at 2 Piece Music on pretty much all the platforms, or you can just follow me personally on the X and Instagram, and that's at Nick_Harksen. That's NICK_HARKSEN.
Follow me on the Instagram at KevKellum6, at KevKellum6, and on Twitter at KevKellum, all that fun stuff. Shout out to Q101. This is the old logo. Shout out to Q101 and everyone. I just dropped a bunch of new stuff on the Q101 YouTube channel. You're watching us here on YouTube. I got interviewed and nearly disemboweled by the band Guar. So that is up right now. Nice. So you guys can go watch that over on the Q101 YouTube channel. They say a lot of naughty words that I cannot repeat. Thank you guys for watching. Support the channel. Like the video if you're watching this far. Wow, you watched the whole thing? We were with you for nearly an hour? Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Remember, when watching wrestling, please do the most important thing. Don't bitch that they didn't take the fantasy booking directly from your brain and put it on their multi-billion-dollar platform. And simply just do what, Nicholas? Do what?
Enjoy wrestling.
Yes.